Start the show!
It is my privilege to welcome to the stage, we have two of our instructors, Zach Ward and Jill Bernard, fresh from North Carolina and Minnesota. Please welcome Zach and Jill!
Hey everybody, I'm Jill from Minnesota!
And I'm Zach from Chapel Hill! You said a state and I said a city.
Well, yours is closer, they need to narrow it down.
Okay, alright. Great.
We'd like a suggestion.
Yeah, do you want to get the suggestion first?
The number 1, 2, or 3?
Three. Two I heard
Like I
first.
said 2 so boldly.
Great. So for the next 25 minutes we're going to do 2 scenes. 2 scenes.
Yeah.
And is that all we want to do? Yeah, so these 2 scenes. Well, no. So, yeah, we're just going to do some improv.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you for the number 2. We're going to do 2 scenes. This is improvised. Can the lights go out?
Oh, gal, I just don't know.
You don't have to know.
Well,
You don't have to have it all figured out.
if Nadine's not coming, we shouldn't put the chairs like this.
The chairs can be like this. If she doesn't come, then we'll move them back.
But everyone will be here, and the absence of Nadine will.
They'll already know she's not here,
Yeah.
so the chair's not just the overriding reminder.
Oh, Evan.
Oh, God.
Oh.
If Nadine doesn't show up, the chair's the least of our worries.
That's very true, Evan. We have to pull it together.
Yeah, this family just devolves into anger. This family devolves into fights. This family devolves. Last time a dog died. If Nadine's not here, who knows what we're capable of? A chair's the least of our worries.
Chair is the least of our worries.
But there could be, there's something to be said about removing a trigger item.
Yeah.
And a chair, I see, is a possible trigger item. So I appreciate.
Okay,
No,
then.
I'm not saying remove it. I'm saying we should acknowledge that a chair could be a trigger item. Well, what if she shows up now? What if we don't have a chair and Nadine shows up and she gets mad and just then turns around and leaves?
Evan.
This family is falling apart.
Go.
We have to acknowledge there's nothing worse than someone showing up.
If that's the biggest problem.
No, I wasn't finished. There's nothing worse than someone showing up, you seeing them, your heart filling with the memory of holidays past, hope raising in your eyes like sea level during a hurricane. And then you see that same person turn and leave.
As if the sea level has receded before we even put the canoe in the lake once.
No, I'm not talking about a calm recession of water.
Okay.
I'm talking about water being thrust up into the land. Taking care of Nadine is a delicate balance.
It really is.
Do you put the chair out? Do you not have the chair? Do you invite her at all? Do you ever have family together? Ever?
I kind of dangled her out like bait.
Huh?
I told everyone Nadine was coming.
You what?
I told everyone Nadine was coming. I didn't think
You made a Nadine promise? You reached out to our family, who you know to be a volatile bunch. With an anger inside them that can only be quelled by Nadine. You made a Nadine promise? You said, here's a loaded gun, but don't worry, there's a safety. But there's not gonna be a safety. You gave all the members of this family a loaded gun with no Nadine. last time that happened, a dog died. I don't care about your books. I'm gonna put the chair back. You're always reading a book and you never finish them.
It's called The Secret. I thought I could make Nadine come just by believing. I read this book. I didn't finish it. You are correct. But the part I read made it sound like if I believed.
Well, first of all, I don't think a book like The Secret is a book you actually need to finish. You kind of get it. And then you put it back on the shelf in the airport and you say, no one needs this book.
Evan, the 75% of this book I read changed my life. The 75% of this.
I want to say for the record, sometimes I like it when you put your foot up that high and I can see your stuff. I think it's exciting and I've never said that out loud. We're in the middle of a family crisis, one that I'd like to manage before going upstairs for shenanigans. Don't get me wrong, if Nadine shows up and everybody's good and we all leave and no dogs have died, let's do it. But if this becomes a no Nadine party, I feel like shenanigans would be...
Don't you want something nice to happen today? Maybe a little shenanigan insurance to make sure that something nice happens today.
Is this part of the secret? Because I'll tell you what, I think about shenanigans all the time and the shit never happens. I project forward, today is going to be a shenanigans day. And it ends up me reading the humor-filled college anecdotes in the old Reader's Digest that we still have in the bathroom next to the doily-covered toilet paper no one wants to use.
It's just been so upsetting. It starts around Easter. It starts around Easter.
You get upset. You get upset.
Upset.
You don't want to do any shenanigans. Because you get so filled with this anxious...
Yeah. Yeah, my whole body clenches.
I know, at inopportune times. Proud of you for starting a book.
I was going to finish it too, but you're right. Then it's just example after example of it working, and I get it.
You get it.
I get it.
And most of those examples don't apply to our scenario.
Right. I don't have or need a yacht. Why do I need to read about some man who used the secret to get a yacht?
Yeah, I've never traversed a mountain.
I've never traveled the world, climbed a mountain. Never done any of those things.
No.
I've stayed right here.
In Madison.
Right here in Madison.
Well, outside of Madison.
Right here in Houston. We don't need to be in the city. Houston's a fine place to tear your family apart.
You made a Nadine promise. We're going to have to live with that.
I made the big NP.
Give me that book.
Now that's a hardcover. Be careful.
I'm going to put this book here in this chair. If the family shows up and Nadine doesn't show up, we'll put that on them. You clearly didn't want Nadine to be here. Family.
I'm gonna put a tumbler of scotch drunk down to the ice cubes as if Nadine has been here.
For a second, I thought you meant a website. Full of animated scotch gifts. I could see now how that was wrong.
My animated scotch gifts is an Etsy site.
Your animated what?
Scotch gifts.
You said Scots. Are you drunk?
No.
Are you drunk?
I'm proud of my Scottish heritage. I have a website of downloadable flags of all of the clans. Flag wave. If you ever listen to me, you would know this. If you ever Google me even once, you would know about it.
Why would I Google my wife?
Don't you care if I'm cheating on you or something, Evan? You don't Google me?
Is that something you can Google? You suspect a loved one of cheating on you?
Yes!
Google it?
Yes!
What?
I look for you all over Tinder. I look for you all over Tinder. You don't even look for me on Tinder.
You're on Tinder?
Looking for you,
I'm in this house! I sleep in the same bed as you most nights!
Well,
if you don't lock the door before I get up there!
You know why I locked the door. I don't like that ghost dog. Like it was our fault! All night, that ghost dog.
I have a question. Did you make a Nadine promise that time? Because if you did, maybe it is your fault. Maybe the death of our retriever is your fault. Maybe that ghost dog is trying to tell you something. And let me get something straight. A locked door in the physical world keeps a ghost dog out?
This is my fourth flower today. He's loved me every time. Some would say there's a 50-50 chance of whether he loves you or loves you not. But the flowers have made it so.
My chaperone has stepped away. I'm not sure I'm allowed to speak to you.
Listen, girl. I'm a woman now, but I was a girl not so long ago. I could take you under my wing and show you how to make a man love you.
I'm not sure.
Flower number 5. And he's loved me every time. Do you have a flower?
Your hair, is it curled with an iron? Or is it naturally curly?
It used to be that it was naturally curly, but now it is curled with an iron. I've had to use an iron for the past 13 years.
It's so perfect, your hair.
It's not this way in the morning when I rise. When I rise, it's called awful. But I do what I must. The flowers show it.
I haven't a flower, in answer to your earlier inquiry.
Oh, you do have a flower. We all have a flower deep inside, okay? And I'm not talking about the flowers, the petals of which I have plucked. To prove that the men love me every time. I'm talking about your flower.
We're speaking in poetic illusion.
Hmm?
The dress, is it real silk or just sateen?
I'm not sure.
Have you ever spilled water on it?
No. I've never done much in this dress. This dress is just the dress I wear when out at the garden. I take it off when I get home and put it on just before I eat. I do not eat in this dress, nor do I drink in this dress. God knows I do not iron my hair in this dress. The material feels like it would catch fire. And then at that moment, I would certainly have to throw water on it, not just drop water on it, and then I'd have a burnt, stained dress.
Miss, when you do iron your hair,
Yes?
Are you without clothes then? For fear of fire.
I am not fully without clothes. I am wearing a corset. One that's tied in the back by my houseboy, who happens to be 70 years old. The corset used to be much tighter than it is now, but his frail hands, I fear, would break if I asked him to tighten the corset. So I get to breathe easier, and he does not die. And about you? When you prepare yourself in the morning, do you wear that thing?
I wear my shift.
Hmm?
I wear my shift.
Shift?
My shift. It's like a nightgown, only plainer.
I should have assumed as much after.
No one has asked me such a personal question ever in my life.
No one?
No one, no, never.
Not even your chaperone who has left you here for an elongated period of time. I can't imagine what she is doing with herself. The garden is not very large.
She may have fallen down a slope.
There are slopes here.
And she is very round. She's very round, nearly circular. If she were to stumble...
Oh, and her body composition?
If she were to stumble, she would ceaselessly roll.
At first I assumed that you meant round like a chaperone would be well studied.
Oh no, she's not
Complete in her background, such as to be a chaperone for a precocious and inquisitive one such as yourself. But no, you meant fat. Has she been that way since you've known her? Or did she get bigger with you as her charge?
When I was small, she seemed bigger. But as I grew, I cannot tell if she increased in size or it was merely my perspective changing. She may have always been the same size.
Or she may have increased in size in proportion to your natural increase in size.
Or she may always stand at distances from me. And know of several.
Interesting that you say that she is circular and round, in fact, because if she did stand distances from you, and that's how you know she was a larger size, then she might appear to be a trapezoid.
You're so clever. Are you an orphan?
Yes, I was an orphan. Once you reach a certain age, you are no longer an orphan, you are just a... You are. So I am, and I maintained my position in life by attracting men and making sure that they loved me every single time. It's difficult work. The houseboy, who is 70, is... was my adopted father. I made him serve me. Kept him around to tie my corsets in the back. Odd task for an adoptive parent.
I'm an orphan too.
I know.
Well, perhaps. Perhaps I'm an orphan.
Perhaps you're an orphan.
It's
You can't
suspected.
perhaps be an orphan. Or suspect yourself an orphan.
My father, he went missing in India.
Really?
Yes, so it's presumed I'm an orphan, you see.
By who? Yourself? Or others?
Both.
Did you collude together to come up with this presumption? Or independently presume and then agree later that you had presumed the same thing? Was it an independent presumption?
Well, for a while after he went missing, I believed him to be alive. And then he faded in my memory. And soon he seemed not to be there, so I presumed him dead. I had been told he was dead all along, although his body was never recovered.
Sometimes our memory is like a slope. You start at the top, remembering so much, and your own memory starts to roll ever faster.
Do you remember your parents?
Yes, one of them is in my house.